So in this video, we're going to have a look at the App4 Teachers app. Once logged in, you will see that the diary automatically displays the teacher's name, and it also has the branding of the school in the top right hand corner. The image on the front, like the student app, can be changed by going to the About Me section and clicking either the camera to take a picture there and then, or going to the camera roll to find a picture from your iPad's camera roll. On the Diary tab, you'll see that first of all the calendar displays. The calendar will show individual appointments which you add by pressing the plus button. It'll also display a Google Calendar, so if your school sets up a staff calendar, that feed can come through and be shown on this page. The inspirational aspect allows the school to display inspirational quotes or school values. The homework section of this app shows homeworks which you have set to your classes. It's also where you can add a homework for students. So by pressing the Add button, selecting the class, selecting either all the students or just an individual student, putting the due date in, setting the task and the instructions, and then tapping the Done button will add this to the student's diary, but also into this section here, so you can see that. You can also see how many students have started the homework from within the student apps and how many have already completed it too. The Assignments tab can either show the bigger pieces of work which you want to set students, such as project work, or it's an area for target setting, and this can be added a little bit like the homework section that we've just looked at as well. And the last tab down the bottom allows the teacher to do lesson planning, so automatically know your timetable from your information management system, and you can tap on the relevant classes and then type in what it is that you're going to do in that lesson. In the students section, there are a number of things which can be seen here. So you can see all of your classes and you'll be able to see their names. By tapping on them, you can see a whole host of information. So you can keep notes on students, useful information such as they were a class prefect or have done something particularly rewarding which you want to remember for a later date for report writing. There's some brief information about the student as well, such as contact telephone numbers for parents. Photographs are optional. It's up to the school to decide whether they want to pull the photographs through or whether to leave those blank, but their main information can be seen there. You can also see the workload of the students, and I think this is particularly powerful for from a pastoral point of view. You can see A, if they're getting homework, and B, whether they're getting too much homework, which can sometimes be the case. It's also an area where you can see if they've signed any of the agreements which the school has asked them to. So if you need to hold them to account, you can see that they've signed this agreement, and then obviously can take appropriate action if needed. You can also take the register in here for your classes, so you can, by going to role marking, select the day that you're on, select your class, and then you can take the register from there. Tokens is to do with merits and perhaps behaviour points. So a pink one here denotes a negative comment, a green one denotes a positive one, and it's really good to see that students are being rewarded, but also is a really good indication of whether students perhaps need to be picked up and given a bit of a pep talk because they're getting too many negative comments. You can see a lot of this information for your classes. You can also award them to somebody in the school, so perhaps somebody that you don't teach. You can also award those by hitting the plus button, selecting merit, or the default here is called demerit, and tapping an icon to go with that. And then pressing the done button will add this and will be visible in the student's diary. The last feature here to mention are the hall passes. The hall passes here basically gives the teacher the ability to give permissions to students to leave the lessons. It could be to go to sick bay, it could be to go to music, to go to the office, etc. But all this data can be fed back to the school in the form of a spreadsheet, so they can keep track of how many times students are leaving lessons. You know, if it's the same lesson every week, obviously again that may lead to another pastoral conversation. The timetable for the teacher is shown, and a red marker will normally denote where you are in the school day and remind you it's possible to do a 1 week timetable or a 2 week timetable depending on what your school uses. The messages tab denotes messages sent from the school, such as room changes. If you're using the parents app, messages that have come from parents, and it also allows you to send messages to students by pressing the plus button and then choosing your class, students, and then the actual message, and this will show as a notification on the student's app. The info section on the Teachers app allows for different documents to be shown to those of students. So if you want to put things to remind staff which are more sensitive in nature or are more appropriate for them, such as safeguarding information, this can all be stored in this particular section here. The Help tab allows again for helpful documents to be made available to staff. So any particular things to do with unions or help that they may need for their mental well-being could be stored here. And the last tab is the Settings tab, and this is where you'll log in. This can be done by provided username and passwords or by using the Active Directory logins that your school may already use.